Unleash your inner geek when Barrelhouse Z and Inebriart join forces for ZCon. Join us for a mind-blowing celebration of all things pop culture. Immerse yourself in a world of comics, gaming, cosplay, and more. Get ready for thrilling panels and unforgettable encounters with local artists and creators. Whether you're a superhero aficionado, a gaming guru, or just looking for an epic day of craft beer, come on out to ZCon. It has something for everyone. Grab your tickets, secure a spot at this extraordinary event happening on September 30th at Barrelhouse Z in Weymouth. Geek out with us at ZCon. You can get your tickets by going over to inebriart.com. That's INEBRI-ART.com. Check out our calendar events, and in September, just look up ZCon. See you there. Get ready for chills and thrills at Hometown Haunts and Hops Horror Convention here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Join us for a spine-tingling day of horror-filled fun on October 28th at the Mayflower Brewing Company. Meet horror actor Matthew G. Taylor from Resident Evil and dive into a macabre world of cinema and literature. Sip on chilling brews, indulge in ghastly treats, and immerse yourself in a haunted atmosphere. Whether you're a horror buff or just seeking an unforgettable experience, Hometown Haunts and Hops has it all. Don't miss out on the eerie excitement. Secure your tickets now by heading on over to inebriart.com. Go to our events calendar, and in October you will find the link for Hometown Haunts and Hops, which is sponsored by HalloweenNewEngland.com. HalloweenNewEngland.com is the website for the truly Halloween obsessed, with the most extensive guides to New England haunted houses, ghost tours, classic horror film screenings, jack-o'-lantern festivals, haunted hayrides, and more. They've got all the thrills covered throughout September and October, with over 2,500 Halloween events on their events calendar and hundreds of local Halloween attractions. It's the only place you'll find everything from haunted history tours and costume contests to which haunts are open on Thursday nights. HalloweenNewEngland.com has your Halloween covered and is sponsoring Hometown Haunts and Hops this year.
Here's this picture. If you don't want it on the internet, donate $10.
Poor Heavy, his turtle died. Somebody rang in a ticket. It just says Jameson on the rocks, and then the note says, "Poor Heavy, his turtle died."
That's amazing. Welcome back to the Bar Talk Podcast. I am your host, Andy. Standing at the table is Karl Heine.
I know.
Hello, everybody. Tavern.
Why are you standing? You're making me nervous.
Right? Yeah.
Just trying to be eye level with everyone, guys. Indeed.
The table is 12 feet off the ground. That is Dan Mahoney from Stats in Boston.
Good evening.
And did I introduce you, Jess?
I know. Some people listen at night,
You don't
Jess.
have to. I don't need an introduction.
No, whatever. Jess Hamilton, the World Tavern.
And that cackle.
I don't need an
All the
introduction.
laughter that keeps clipping.
This is set to my alarm clock. It's like, oh, God. The Wicked Witch is here.
And our most frequent guest, who hasn't been on in a long time, Jeff Nardone from Mayflower Brewery.
Hello.
I say that, but like you were technically on the last episode.
Technically.
Yeah, technically. But we're recording the same day. So we live in a town where
Do we?
We do.
Or is this all
Should
in
be
our
a city with a mayor,
imagination?
but
Yeah.
for another day.
Oh, I was thinking more of the Matrix.
That's a different podcast.
Right, yeah.
Which one? The Matrix or the Mayor?
The
Or
Mayor.
Both.
The mayor of the Matrix?
Yeah.
But there's a shit ton of restaurants and always new ones coming in. And we have currently 5 breweries. Is that right? 5 breweries,
Yes.
a distillery, and 2 wineries. And more breweries coming in.
Yep.
There's 2 wineries?
Yeah, 1620 in Plymouth Bay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What's too much? Like, when is it?
When is too much too much?
When is too much too much? What's too much competition? When's it gonna fall? Like, I don't want to say fall apart, but
Right.
Well, it depends. I mean, you have, like in Plymouth, what's this? 43 liquor licenses that you can walk to from New World Tavern.
Yep.
yeah.
So there's 43 places that you can get a drink.
When I
you
first
can walk
moved
to.
to town, I'm like, I'm gonna do a pub crawl and drink in every bar.
Did not make it.
No.
How many did you make it to?
You could. I
A
mean,
respectable
Yeah.
12, I think.
Hey, listen.
I kind of lost track.
you
towards
could
the
have
end.
maybe like 20 years ago. There wasn't that many bars.
But this was still like 10 years ago.
But I think that people come because there's so many things to see and do and go and
Drink
drink.
and eat. And
So I think it adds value to the other restaurants.
now,
Unless, you could open up the same, pizza place next to a pizza place. That's
Right.
probably not going to help either one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, they could be like in the North End where they drive by shooting each other
Shoot
on
the guy in the
bikes.
bakery, right?
Yeah.
But,
No idea what they're talking
I
about.
don't know.
hear
There's a
that?
drive-by shooting.
but anyway, I think
a
I think
ride-by
a crowd,
shooting. He's on a bike.
I think a crowd brings a crowd.
I-
So people
yeah.
keep. If you're going to go to a place and you want to go for the day, then Plymouth is the place to be because it has so many things you can do.
Right.
Stay and eat and drink. Where you wouldn't go to, let's say, downtown Kingston because there's nothing there.
Right.
I don't even know where that is, and I live there.
So if you
There's
open
a
a restaurant
downtown
downtown
Kingston.
Kingston, that doesn't mean you're going to do as well as you would if you went to Plymouth because the crowd's already there.
Now, in
thought you raised your hand.
the excuse me, in Plymouth, in the town of Plymouth, how many liquor license can they distribute?
It's unlimited.
It's unlimited. in Plymouth.
Unlimited for restaurants and bars. It's limited for liquor stores.
Gotcha. Because in other, I don't know if it's other towns or other states, but usually they do a certain amount of liquor licenses per, like, depending on the size of the town, right? Is that
Some do. I mean,
true,
Boston
or-
does. You have to buy your liquor license from another person that already has a license.
Ah.
I believe the
Where in
town
Plymouth,
sets
you just
the
got to
limit.
get a new one.
The
So
town
it's just
sets the limit.
unlimited.
Yeah.
Right, the town sets
Yeah.
the limit. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
But what does that have to do with, more people coming into where you are? Is it going to help or is it going to hurt? I mean, I think it helps because it just adds to where people want to be.
So, but I've walked into a bar, and it's not
Sounds like
busy.
the beginning of a
Yep.
joke.
Yep. Well, Andy was with me, so it was totally a joke.
I don't
And it's
remember
like
this.
you get a drink and it's not busy. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to the next bar. Like, do you think that hurts you because there's so many
Well, it
more
could.
options? Where it's like, if there's not as many, or even if they're just like space, like a 5 minute walk apart, I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
I'm not walking somewhere else. So stay here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's tough sometimes, I think. But I do agree, like, if people know to come here to go to places, then people from a radius much wider than the town of Plymouth is all going to come to Plymouth. But it does get tough sometimes, but as long as you, as a business owner, you open up a place that, you're right, isn't the exact same thing as the place that's right next to you, and it creates diversity. So that, and it's like, it not only helps you as a business, but it helps everybody else too. Like if you have a sports bar next to a sports bar, that probably wasn't the best decision as an owner to open
Right.
one, because it's going to hurt you and it's going to hurt the other place.
Unless you're the only two sports bars, you only have so many seats and you're going to
True.
get spillover.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
But I think the idea of it being like a location
yeah.
is also makes the restaurants in town better because there is so much competition where you can't kind of let shit slide.
Right.
I've gone to, my kids live in Bridgewater and I've gone to lunch with them and there's places there that I'm like, you look at their website, you're like, oh, it looks like a gastro pub, a little kind of not high end, but not fucking Chili's or whatever. And then you go and you're like, this food's trash. Like, it's not even close to good. And you kind of, I forget how spoiled we are.
Yeah,
Like,
you
with
have to
just-
stay on top of your game if you want to stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it is tough, too, to, like, be different because, everybody can have live music. Everybody can have, comedy shows or paint nights.
Not
or
everybody
this.
can have comedy shows.
Right, no, I'm just
Shut
saying.
up, Jess.
Fuck off. I'm just saying, like, so then you have to start getting creative as an owner and a manager to do other things to stand out,
Yeah.
like events and or have like a funky cocktail list, or when Karl, when you first opened, you were what, the only craft beer
Well,
bar?
one of them. There was a couple more downtown. but
Yeah.
that was when the craft was hitting its big wave
Right,
back then.
right. And for us, like, we have karaoke, but we don't just have karaoke. We have jackpot karaoke. Like, just staying like ahead of the game, because everybody else can do the same thing as you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it does, that part of it does become difficult sometimes. And then you don't want to sell yourself short by doing like, you know, nights where it's like half off this, and then you start throwing out discounts and like whatever, just to have everybody come to you because there's a million other places to go. So
I feel like that was
sometimes
a
it does
very
get tough.
pre-COVID thing. Like, I don't feel like anyone really does
Discounts?
that anymore. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, you know, I think after COVID, lots of things changed. Prices went up. You know, I mean, to get chicken wings right now, you know, for the last couple of years has been expensive. So,
Yeah.
like, that was like, you know, 25-cent wings, 50-cent wings. That was like almost every other bar in Plymouth for years.
Main Street used to do like $2 Taco Tuesdays.
Yep. So it's tough to do those now because the food costs are so high, you know, and so you don't want to give the house away just to bring more people in because, yes, that could help, but it also could only like even keel it. You know what I mean? So having a lot of places, it does help, but in some regard to bringing people to the town, but in other parts, it's sometimes difficult to make yourself stand out enough, you know?
Jeff, is it the same with breweries?
Yeah, I think a lot of the same things apply.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit easier for us because we're all making different beer.
Yeah.
You know, even though we're making IPAs, everyone has their own twist on it,
Sure.
particularly in this area. And then everyone has different a different kind of venue.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think everyone offers something different. It'll be interesting to see when the two new guys come in and what happens. I happen to think because we all get along, all the breweries, and we're all part of the same South Shore Beer Guild, that I think we can turn it into a little downtown tour. Like I think there's opportunity there.
Yeah.
And so in talking with those guys, and I'm sure we'll come up with a game plan, which, you know, we'll come up with something. So, I mean, there's not much you can really do about it. Karl and I had this conversation last week, I believe. What can you do about it? Right. All you can do is sharpen your knives and just, you know, sit down and let's go. You know, you got to get more creative. You got to work harder. We got to work different. And if you don't take that attitude from the get-go, you're going to get caught and you're not going to keep up.
Right.
And so you just try to either do what you've been doing that's been successful that people like, or you add a spin on it and try to get more creative with that stuff.
You're going to get hurt the first month, maybe a little bit, because everybody wants to try the new place.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like even when Chick-fil-A opened up,
right.
businesses were not hurting, but you saw a
You
definite
could see
dip
a tiny
because,
dent, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just people want to go to the new thing. And,
Right, people want to go to the new place and check it out, try it.
Yeah.
And then eventually they come back.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing that surprised me about Plymouth is
There's not so many pilgrims.
there's very few.
Thought there'd be more.
Yeah.
There's a lot less than I thought, and I grew up here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But is
Zero
everyone's...
buckle Sunday hats.
Everybody claims to be related, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But everyone is so willing to work together. Like, you know, even Jeff was saying with the breweries.
Yeah.
I was, like, amazed at how people get along.
I have a comment on that, and I have kind of a reason, a thought behind it, and you guys can tell me if I'm crazy. There's nothing really franchised down here, right? In downtown area, and a lot of the restaurants and bars and places that you frequent in Plymouth are owned by people that live in this community. And everyone wants to be able to live in the community. It's a great area to live, and you want to be able to work near home. And so we've had people come from out far and in, and I think everyone kind of has respect for each other, that they're residents and that they're all working together. You also see that, you know, you have new restaurants like Labaya comes in. They came in with a completely different concept that wasn't available. Mediterranean food. It's just like you have Anna's, but they kind of just touch on it a little bit. And it's a little bit more Greek than it is anything else. And so just be able to offer something new and different added a wrinkle. And so now it's just like when somebody says, hey, I'm coming in from out of town, like, well, what kind of food do you want?
Yeah.
We have it all in Plymouth. And, you know, and then after that, here's all the places that have live music and great bar life and great cocktails. And I think what you said earlier, Jess, about everyone just upping their game. Or was that you, Andy? I'm sorry.
No, it was me.
I just assumed...
If it was a smart answer, it was me. If it was a dumb one, it was Andy.
If it was a good answer, I just assume it wasn't. So that's fine. But, you know, I think those kind of things really build the community around it, and I think everyone benefits from that. And so that's just my thought.
Yeah.
Because everyone's local, they kind of take a local perspective. There's a little bit more community,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of stuff that all you guys and all of us, if I can involve ourselves in the community, have to fight for. Tourism and, waking over the last 5 years, waking people up that we need to be advertising the region and what we're all building towards. Everyone keeps throwing Newport around, right? And so real estate's throwing so many people downtown to feed all of these things, and so now competition goes up to get that customer or just be part of it. And so people love living here, particularly the new people. They're just blown away by how much stuff is going on and how great it is to walk around. And, so.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, for a few years I wasn't working in Plymouth. For quite a while I wasn't working in Plymouth. And I took for granted the fact that we all work together. So, like, if I need something, I can just go right across the street and get it. And then, then we return, like plastic cups or napkins or something. We run out and go next door and grab whatever.
Ice.
Yeah, ice. The ice machine.
Everyone needs ice.
Everybody always needs ice. And then when I wasn't working in Plymouth, I was like, it felt like the people across the street from me were against me. So, like, I was like, guys, we're all in the same business. Like, if you're across the street from me, we should be able to work together because your people are going to come to my place after and vice versa.
Yep.
So why are we working against each other? It just was so strange. And then when I came back to downtown Plymouth, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, just to be able to have a community where we're all doing the same thing and we're all technically fighting for all the guests, but we're all working together to build a better community for all the businesses involved, not just restaurants.
Now, Dan, you're in Boston, so same situation there or no?
A little bit, but not as much. It's more cutthroat.
Yeah.
I think a little bit. Like, where we are, it's a little more neighborhoody, but like, not as.
Well, I feel like Boston, like, there's always people going into Boston for whatever the reason is. Whether they're flying in and then they're staying. And
but with South Boston where you are, I mean,
that's a little
you
different.
don't have a restaurant across the street.
We do.
You do?
There's a million of them.
Yeah.
So do you not feel like you could go down there and say, hey, I listen, you got any cups?
No, we could. Like, I don't know them though. Like, it's.
Yeah,
because it's so busy. Like, it's not like here where, I mean, it helps that when I moved here, I live down here.
Right,
Like, I don't live up there, so I'm not walking around South Boston.
True, yeah.
On your day off, you're not going to go up.
I'm not going to. I mean, there are some days off I have, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Later in the evening. Like, I'm not going to go up there on like a Monday afternoon and just go walk around. Like, I know a couple people, but not nearly like what out here.
Not like
and I'm
you,
sure
like this.
my bosses and like the owners know everybody because they've been there forever. But it's no like, I don't have someone I would call on like a Friday night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'd call my boss and he could call someone.
But I mean, that's what I love about down here. It's like, if you go out on a fucking Wednesday night and you go to Pillory, you run into Karl. If you go to BBC, you run into Jess. Like, everyone goes to everyone else's place. And,
well, we have that. Like, the staffs all do that.
Sure.
It's not like you're not.
I mean, it's hard for you because you don't live up there.
Yeah. But like, I see, like, I know, like, all our bartenders know the other bartender. So it's more like the industry people know that, not like the owners and stuff like that.
Yeah, not management and whatever. I think
they're on the same, like, get me the fuck out of the city. I don't have to be in there because they don't live there anymore.
Right.
I know when they were growing up, they all did, but now they don't. Now they're
that's
like,
true.
how much traffic is going to be in the tunnel? And get me home.
Yeah.
So I pay Dan to be here.
So in that spirit of community, we have 42 bags of ice left over from beer festival if you need it.
Oh, shit.
Jesus, we'll take it. Even if we don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. Even
When
if we
the
don't.
ice machine ultimately breaks.
Right.
Do you think that mentality would be the same if Buffalo Wild Wings opened up downtown here? Like, do you think
that same
Do you
community?
think the manager from Buffalo Wild Wings could come over and be like, "Hey, I need a bag of ice, Jeff"?
No, because they'll just go.
I think it all depends on what they do when they get in. So let's say they opened up in the middle of town. And if the managers or whoever owned it or whatever was making the rounds and introducing himself, then if he called me up and said, listen, I need ketchup. Do you have a case of ketchup? I'll give him ketchup.
But
I'm not doing it just because of the name of the restaurant. It's the people.
But in a corporate situation like that, they're very strict about
Yeah,
bringing
insane.
in outside stuff. So,
Yeah.
like, if they run out of ketchup, they're just
They're
going to
just
go to
out.
the next Buffalo Wild Wings and that's closest and get that ketchup.
Yeah.
Like, when I worked for Longhorn, you could not bring in anything outside. It had to be from Longhorn. And that was not just for food, that just for basic shit. So, like,
I think even when we worked for BBC, they wanted you to get it from
yes, yeah.
another store.
Yep.
Then
Instead of going to Walmart to get plastic cups. Like,
Yeah.
they want you to keep it, in the same business.
Yep.
So I don't think that they would be part of our, that type of community that we have, because I guess they technically have their own community in the corporate world, so they just go get it from there. You know what I mean? And not, I mean, if they did ask, of course I would be friendly and give them what they need, but I just, fuck you and your buffalo wings. But yeah, like, I just think that they probably wouldn't have that same mentality that we do,
Yeah.
you know?
I also feel like something like that wouldn't go over.
What, having like
Downtown. Like if they,
Yeah.
I feel like the town itself would push
Right.
back against it.
They have.
Yeah.
So for years and years, what is now Tavern on the Wharf was going to be legal seafood,
Yep.
Oh, really?
and it just
Fell through.
never. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably a town rep thing or more
Maybe, yeah.
the board there.
Yeah.
They're all local business people that are on the select board, and so they kept franchise out of downtown as much as they could. I mean, I think there's been Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, then there's a
Yeah.
question too: is what's a franchise?
You could argue that Mamma Mia's.
Well,
even though like you could
Right.
go fucking talk to Mike and
Yeah.
but that's a local franchise. That's
Yeah.
different. That
Right.
originated
Well,
right
Dunkin'
in
Donuts is a
Kingston.
local.
So Dunkin' Donuts is no longer here, though.
Yeah.
Right.
They were here and
run the
and
fuck out of town.
And
And
on
your shitty
top of
breakfast
that,
sandwiches.
on top of that, in that same building, they replaced Friendly, which was
Yep,
pushed
Friendly's,
out. Friendly's was pushed out to Long Pond Road near the highway too,
Yep.
Yeah.
or they went there on their own. But those guys aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
What's setting the space used to be
Yep.
Walgreens.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a Pizza Hut. Are there any franchises downtown?
No, that's what I was saying.
They used to be
I didn't.
Puppuccinos.
I just
You
now.
were right. I was listening, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I started.
Yep, they
my
used to be a
comment. Thanks,
Puppuccinos.
Sorry, I wasn't. Like I wasn't thinking of like things like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking like the larger ones.
Andy. Yeah,
Sure.
nothing.
Yeah.
Domino's.
There you go.
Yeah. Domino's. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I mean, they get.
Well, it's
because
someone's gonna be open for.
Someone's got to be open
Yeah.
at 1 a.m. for
7-Eleven.
the drunk people to get pizza.
Yeah.
7-Eleven's the other one.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, that's.
But yeah, for a downtown area this big, that's wild. It's only
That's great. Yeah.
those two things.
Especially
you
for
think of.
Dunkin' Donuts, the fact that
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
because I
Yeah.
mean, there's like 9 of them in town and just none of them down.
They're just none of them down.
Even that one that just closed over here, like that's a prime time like real estate
know.
spot.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you think of outside the restaurant industry, like West Marine,
Yep.
that's out by the highway too. And then there's there's a shop right near the marina that sells to all the boaters, all
Yep.
the hardware they need for the boats. And you got
Yep.
M&M's over here selling fishing equipment and stuff like that.
They're not
So-
No, they're not there anymore.
Oh, they just moved.
Yeah. They,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Is
They
that going
just
to be a
moved.
West Marine?
I don't know what it's gonna be.
I don't know, but I just noticed the other day they closed too. Yeah.
It's been for a while.
I know,
Couple
but I
months,
just
yeah.
noticed,
Yeah.
so therefore it just happened.
It just happened. right.
Because it's my world and everyone's just living in it.
That's going to be.
Yeah. Jeff, some wise words from you today.
I know. That's why he's like our number one guest.
He showed up. It's a full moon, and Jeff's here.
I know, right?
Jess, you said you had some
Sturgeon moon.
Yes, I
stuff
saw
from
that
the
yesterday.
Reddit.
Yeah.
Blue
I
moon,
can do
super
this.
moon on August 30th. Everyone, hide your
What?
werewolves.
Your werewolves? What are you gonna bust out your crystals and fucking
Go to
do
the
a rain
medium
dance?
show.
Come to see the medium.
At least time.
Right? Here we go. So I got something that says, "Is this legal?"
Nope.
It's probably.
You have to ask.
Exactly. For some backstory, I work at a restaurant that has never-ending salad or soup with
So
every
Olive
entree.
Garden.
Right? Yeah. Way to call yourself out without
I
actually
work at
calling
Olive
yourself out. Guests go through salad like crazy here, so I, as well as the majority of my coworkers, make the salads a decent size. My manager gets on us about portion sizes. We also only can take 3 tables at a time at this restaurant and are in 3 table sections on the floor. The thing I'm wondering is legal. My manager said she will be doing table touches, meaning checking in with the guests, and that if our salads or soups are not properly portioned, she will take one of our tables away so we can only take 2 tables at a time instead of 3. Seeing as tables are the main source of income for us, is this legal for her to do? She also said if that doesn't work, we will get written up and eventually fired.
Yes,
I mean,
that's legal.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Next question.
Rules may vary.
Damn!
So annoying. Right?
I know!
As someone who used to do those salad bowls filled to the
know,
fucking rim because
yeah.
I wasn't coming back to your table ever again. There's ways around it.
But what's the point if they're just gonna keep eating salad? Then why not?
Because
Why not?
It's probably a food waste cost
Exactly.
type
There's
thing.
Sure,
always a
but I'm
table you
just
do
saying-
that for that's not going to get that.
That's right.
Right.
And
No, I'm
base
just
all that
if they're doing never ending this or whatever. I get the portion size thing, but I get what they're trying to say. If I don't have to keep going back and taking up time to get more salad that I know they're just going to eat when I could focus on I guess 3 tables.
I feel like-
I was just
gonna say they only have fucking
No, I know. I'm just saying.
right?
In a scenario that it wasn't 3 tables,
They're doing
right?
side podcasts. No.
Then they would be able for them to spend more time with their guests if they don't have to keep running back. But again, this is only 3
But
tables.
again, if your manager or owner or whoever it may be tells you this is the way we do things and you don't like it,
right.
Yeah.
But it's
Time
more.
to leave.
It's not. I guess it's not more. It's more of not like I don't like doing this even though I'm supposed to do it. It's more of the question is it legal for someone to take away their income for
Well,
when
they're not taking away their income. They're not doing their job as instructed.
right.
right?
Because even
So-
like when
And
I
that
worked,
manager
Yeah.
has to balance the entire budget, which includes that.
Sure.
well, that's
employee's
what this
pay
is all coming
and the
down
food,
to.
and the food waste
food cost is high, and your manager's getting from
but
their
the other
boss saying,
thing,
cut
from
that shit down.
if like I understand more or less where the managers come from, but
Right.
if you're gonna make one big, you make the first one big. But then, like, if they get another giant salad and another giant, like, if you're making them all the same size,
Right.
then eventually you're gonna
Well,
like.
so there's a little inside baseball for fish. When you get your first salad, so that's the way they do it is they build your one stupid fucking bowl, and it's like portioned to how many people are at a table. So you could get away with that first one, unless it's with one person. You can't give them a giant fucking bowl without no one noticing. But your second salad, if you ever look at it, it's literally like a quarter of the size of your first salad. And that's how they.
Yeah,
they're supposed
that
to
would
do
make
it.
sense. Yeah.
And that's where
you do that.
Yeah.
You do that everywhere. I mean, let's say all you can eat wings.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't bring you 1,000 wings and say go at it.
Yeah.
They'll bring you 10 wings, and if you order another order, they only give you 3.
Yeah.
And then they give you another 3. And then they give you another 3.
Yep.
So that you're not putting them in your pocket and walking out.
Just a pocket full of
But I mean, just right.
saucy
I mean,
chicken wings.
I mean, why wouldn't you just put it in a to-go container? I mean, I just don't understand. But
Because these saucy pockets
But
Karl.
yeah, like, you have 3 tables. Like, how busy can you be with 3 tables?
Right. Again, and that's.
I think I could handle 3 tables.
I feel like I could too, and
I don't know.
not well, but like.
I mean, you put
Can't
three-
handle much
you
well.
give me three 10 tops and put them on opposite sides of the restaurant.
Right.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I'm going to be swearing at something.
They do, and I don't like to defend Olive Garden. It's been a long time since I've worked there.
He didn't say Olive Garden.
Well, I did. And I'll tell you right now, that job was probably one of the harder serving jobs I've done. They make you have so much shit to do there. So like that's why your section's so small. And if you're not, that means
Yeah.
they fucking hate you as an employee because you're not helping run food. You're
Right.
not doing half the stuff you're supposed to be doing.
A lot to learn there, too, right?
A lot. Like,
Menu's humongous.
you train there for a week before you even go on the floor. Like you're in a week class.
Yeah.
Bartending there was wild, but I learned a ton of bartending stuff doing it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's a reason they've been around forever, but
I kind of want to go test the theory.
Let's go get some salad.
Ask the server, hey, can you fill it to the top so you don't have to come back so much?
yeah,
Can you bring us a giant bowl?
I get extra
Definitely
breadsticks to give you one.
If I could bring myself to go there.
Can we get in a wheelbarrow?
I want to know.
We'll
Like,
take one of these every
said the
7
soup
minutes
support,
until
man.
someone passes out.
yeah.
No, we'll take them every 5 minutes.
Yeah. This is kind of funny. It's just a picture, but it says upsell ideas. Vodka instead of water. Can you imagine? Somebody said, "Can I have a water?" Be like, "How about a vodka instead?" Auto-grat everybody. That's not good. Pretend like you're crying. That's a good one. Or pretend like it's always your first day.
I fucking did that forever.
I didn't even think of that.
Pretend like it's your first day translating to any industry.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Particularly in the sales industry.
Yeah.
If you're selling anything, selling food at a table or selling pencils or whatever, if you go, oh, sorry, I didn't know that I'm new, you're going to get out of most situations.
You know what's funny is like every time I leave a job, I always tell the people I work with, I'm like, just remember, for the next 6 weeks, it's my fault. I'm like, blame me, I'm gone.
I love that you have an exit strategy. You've exited that much. You have a strategy.
Enough. It's my way of paying back my employees and friends. But like, blame me.
Yeah, and then the last tip is, quote unquote, would you like to pay more money? It's Jay. It's upselling.
For 80s or what?
There was a thing going around TikTok for a while where
Andy's like all
I
about
know.
TikTok
What is
now.
up with you?
you got to stay on top of shit, man. Like,
Something like that.
Getting paid.
Advertising.
But there was all these waitresses saying that like they were testing whether they get better tips if they had pigtails.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
And like across the board, they're like, we get better tips if we get pigtails.
Where did they work?
Hooters.
Yeah, it was a variety of them, I think.
Yeah.
There's
I
Hooters,
did see
Twin
that.
Peaks, Tilted Kilts. What's the other one?
I wonder if it's regional. Like what part of the country?
I don't know. I mean,
Pigtails or no pigtails?
they didn't say where they
Hey,
were
I'm
from.
a bartender this weekend. I'm going to put this theory to the test.
Yeah.
Although I feel like a fucking idiot wearing pigtails as a 38-year-old.
Carl, you should try it.
Have
Can't
pigtails?
grow my hair that long.
No, you...
clip on.
Yeah, just get clip-ons.
That'd be fucking hysterical.
I'd look like Heidi.
Nothing would make me happier than to see you in a ponytail.
Oh yeah.
We could get you a weave.
Halloween, could you just get
We could get you a weave. How about that?
Yeah, what's the next question?
All right, here we go. Handling politics. Advice on handling tables who want to talk politics.
Say,
I
I don't talk politics in a bar.
Would you let me finish?
Oh, I thought that was the whole question.
I work in a very conservative metro area of a major city, and my views are very, very opposite of theirs. A lot of my customers on the floor and behind the bar bring up politics often and try to include me in the conversation. Normally, I just feed a laugh and can excuse myself, but there's got to be a better way.
No,
I don't think so. Like, it's just...
The BBC I love because they're just like, no politics, no religion.
Yeah.
They just fucking tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
leave that at the door.
Yeah, but and you know, if this person's living in a major city that, you know, say it's Washington D.C. and
it'd be hard not
there's
to,
just there's politics everywhere. It must be hard not to like try and get yourself involved in that scenario because it's
aliens
such a forefront.
transcends all political parties.
I don't know. I feel like someone would turn that politically.
Sure.
The military, the government. You're like, oh fuck.
That is fucked up because that just happened to me.
Really?
Aliens? Yes. Legitimately, like, so I'm at,
I thought he was walking in a little funny today.
I was at the BBC, right? And it started,
That's called black.
That
milk.
knows it.
I woke up in the field.
My aliens turning political.
And my shoes were still on.
So
it wasn't fast enough.
It literally started off talking about do aliens exist, and this was before like the whole Senate hearing, blah blah.
Yeah.
And so we were having this great conversation. It's someone I know, and then
I think
fish,
I remember you
because
talking
that's
about
next thing I know, I'm back to the corner, and in my head I'm like, I'm gonna get fucking punched in the face right now.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely thought. The bouncer came over, the bartender interrupted, and it was literally a conversation about like aliens, blah blah blah, and then next thing you know, it became like
government,
this,
conspiracy.
it became like this huge, like eased into like this political thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And this person was drunk, you know, but it was just like, how did we get from a silly conversation to politics? And it can take a right turn so fast.
Yeah.
But I really thought I was going to
You
get
can take a left turn too, Andy.
The only advice I could give her, just from someone that deals with having to deal with awkward situations often in sales situations? You never know where you're going to find yourself or someone's going to make a comment. Just have 1 or 2 or 3 go-to lines that end in a joke.
Yep.
In other words, we can sit here and talk about politics, or I can concentrate on doing my job and getting you your food as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So why don't you let me do that? And you can make a joke about it. The only politics I care about is winning your food and the attention of the chef in the kitchen. So why don't I go do that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could come up with something that can escape you, but you're never going to get away with that stuff, particularly in today's environment. So,
Or you just make it completely absurd and be like, "Oh, I'm going to vote Lincoln." Just dumb dad joke and fucking walk
Or you
away.
could just make your own sign, Dan Mahoney, and say, I'm not running for anything, I just wanted my own sign.
or go back and quarantine yourself.
Right, yeah.
You'll never see anybody.
Or carry a squirt gun. Bad dog.
Maybe the Rock's out once.
Yeah, I saw commercials for those on TV yesterday. So I'm gonna get one.
Oh, those the Buggasol?
Yeah.
I like it.
Karl, do you get a lot of politics here?
No,
Yeah.
not a lot.
I feel like in Plymouth, though, if anybody wants to talk politics, they just go on the lovely Facebook page, All Things Plymouth, and they just
a
rant
dumpster
there
fire that
instead.
It'll happen when everybody starts to vote for the next president, and then
Yeah.
2 months after.
It ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you guys show elections or debates on TV? So I get that question.
Really?
all
We've
that
never-
day.
Really?
Here. No.
Well, I'm interested
Yeah,
to hear
yeah.
your
So I used to get it.
At the BBC, you used to get it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. And I said, nah, bruh. Or I'm
I don't think I've ever worked at a place where someone's asked to put that stuff on
Really?
the TV. I
Oh,
don't think
everywhere
so.
I've worked. Any election time, I've always said, will you put this on? I'm like, bro, we're in a bar.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I'm not putting the sound on for you.
Right.
I can tell you, I'll also judge a bar like when I walk in if the news is on. If it's just like the 5 o'clock news,
Yeah, like
the
your local news,
whatever,
yeah.
I don't give a shit. But when it's like
Fox and
obviously
Friends,
a politically charged station, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need to come back here.
Yeah.
Judge on that much.
Sometimes it's even difficult. Sometimes I've been hesitant to host political events here. Because you don't. I mean, it's just an event is an event, and it brings people in, and this, that,
Just the
whatever.
KKK has to meet something.
But I feel like it's kind of a tiptoe line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remain
Because
as
you don't
neutral
want
as
to.
possible.
Yeah,
I want
you don't
everybody's
want to
money.
seem like you're on one side or the other, but at the same time, you clearly want people to come in and spend money and do whatever. There was one time where I did have a political event scheduled, but I had no idea it was a political event. They never told me. And so when they showed up, I was like, oh no, and it ended up being fine. It was kind of a mild thing, but if I don't know, I just feel like you should have told me, just so I could have a heads up.
This is entrapment.
Right, yeah, right. But I feel like, I don't know. It's I know they say no religion, no politics, but does anybody even really talk about religion
I mean,
anymore
you
in a
guys
bar?
have theology on tap.
Yeah,
It doesn't get more religious than that.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
Can I ask a question? I know you're
Maybe.
a question guy. What would you guys tell your staff if you knew there was a political event going on in your place? If you had an election, someone running for election is having an event in your back room, or they're using the space, or renting out the whole space or something like that, and they're running for city council in Boston or whatever. Do you tell your staff anything different as far as how to handle the customers, or would you because there's no way they're not going to get engaged in those conversations.
Just
Yeah,
have
but
to get in.
if people are having an event here, they're going to engage with the people that are here for the event.
Right.
They're not going to engage
Right,
the bartenders and the servers.
right.
But it's not just that. You can get in a fucking fight with someone over their sports team.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah.
So you're never gonna escape arguing with people's opinion.
Right.
People don't shut the fuck up.
But I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything different with the staff. I mean,
But it is interesting that you're I didn't even ask. We just got asked to do a mug painting in Salem for 60 people, and I'm like, cool, great, fantastic.
Yep.
They're from out of town. I'm like, cool, great, fantastic. I have zero idea who these people are. It could be some Nazi group. I don't know.
It could be.
And then you get there and you're like, oh fuck,
Oh, fuck.
what's going on?
They want a bunch of swastikas on their glasses.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's Salem, guys. Obviously, they're burning women.
Clearly.
But yeah, I mean, it's like it's one of those things you don't necessarily think to ask until it's like too late.
PR police calling us.
I know, right? They're listening. I don't know.
But you'll never stay out of debates in a bar room.
Yeah.
You just gotta like. I think smile and nod's the fucking best.
Yeah, that's really the only thing you can do.
But that's the thing.
Right. Wasn't this the forum for it?
I love a good debate.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Like
One would say he's a master.
But I mean, like, it could be
Last
anything.
call.
But it could be anything. Is like, what, like, is this movie good? Should there be pineapple on pizza? Like, I love that, like, bar, quote unquote argument is great. But like, every once in a while, it fucking takes a turn.
By the way, the movie was meh, and yes on pineapple.
Of course, yes on
Yes on pineapple?
Yeah.
Jeff, who are you?
Just need to add some heat to it.
But it just all of a sudden, it's one of those things that just kind of like creepy crawls up on you, and then, like next thing you know, like this is a serious argument, and either like why am I so mad or why are they so mad?
Right.
And it's just like,
Well, often as a bartender, especially in a smaller place, it's your job to ringmaster that circus.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of watch. If you see it getting intense where Andy's going to get beat up in the corner, you got to cut that leg out quick.
Yep.
and hey,
You gotta tell everybody, watch this.
credit to the bouncer. And the funny part was like after that person got ushered out, like every person I knew in the bar was like coming over like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, you can just fucking ask what happened. I know you saw that.
There was one time when there was like a country song on the radio, like playing at the restaurant, and customer, I think it was about it was a country song about America, and so
Country song.
yeah, basically. And like somebody made a comment saying that they wanted to shut the song off because it was like a political or a religious type of song or something like that, and then the other person was like arguing with them, and they were yelling at each other across the bar about a fucking song. And I just went up to them like, guys, it's not a big deal. Like, it's just a song. Like, everybody chill the fuck out. And they were all up in arms at each other about it. I was like, nobody talk about politics or religion. Who gives? I'll go fucking change the song.
Yeah.
Like, no one needs to be arguing about
fucking
it.
louder.
Yeah.
just go over and fucking put Baby Shark on and be like,
But yeah, I was like, and it was like, it was like a Wednesday afternoon at like 1 p.m.
yeah,
like,
it's all,
what are you
it just
guys
it always just
doing?
comes out of nowhere, and you're like,
Yeah,
what the
I'm
fuck
like-
is going on?
Yeah, I just was like, everybody shut the fuck up.
That's why I'm an advocate of how bars just keep shotguns under the bar and keep a squirt gun.
But it should have that sound.
Yeah.
Oh, they have pump squirt guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't
They
have
go-
that sound.
You can make it. You make it yourself. Just go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an app you can
Shotgun app. I think we're
let's
time
see.
for one more, Jess.
Yeah, word. I guess this is a little bit different. How do you guys deal with, I guess you guys, but I mean like servers and bartenders deal with like people try to pay it forward? Because like they'd be like, oh, I want to pay for that person's tab or that person's bill or whatever, and it's sometimes can be wicked awkward. So like, I've had a couple people before there's a few people in town that, they don't have homes to live in, and sometimes they come in and they want just like a sandwich and whatever, and they just kind of take their time and they, whatever, they can come in and eat, they can pay for it if they want, they have the money, but people will pay for them because they like feel bad that they're quote unquote homeless and they want to buy them their food. And then when you go over and you just let them know, hey, this person wanted to buy you, like sometimes they'll get like offended because it's like, well, I have the money to pay for my own food. I don't
was just
need you to
working
do
in
it
the yard.
for
I'm
me.
not homeless.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, and you know what? That's happened before too.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
That's happened before too. Where someone's like, "Oh, I want to pay for that homeless man's meal," and I'm like, "He's not homeless."
Yeah.
Like I knew who he was, and I was like, "He's not homeless," and they were like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah. Why did you just assume that?" Like. And so it's always awkward when people want to pay for other people's food, and then there's times where they don't tip on it. They'll tip on their portion, but they don't tip on the portion for the tab that they picked up, and it's almost like they expect them to
weird.
tip because they didn't pay for their bill. The least they could do was tip, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like. So I don't know. I don't see it happen so much now. I think more the pay it forward things like maybe drive-through.
I always feel like it's a drive-through thing.
Yeah, but it does happen in the restaurant.
And I always see someone bitching, like, the person in front of them will pay for theirs. Yeah. So they'll be like, I'm going to pay for the guy behind me. And it's always someone online being like, the guy behind me had like $30.
Yeah.
You're like, so say no.
Right.
Like, if you're getting a coffee, you got to be like, oh, you know what? Never mind. Like, ask.
Or same thing in the restaurant. Like, if they're like, oh, I want to pay for that person's, how much is their bill? It's like, if you're going to pay for it, just pay for it. If it's $100, if it's $20, just, if that's what you want to do, if you want to do a good deed, you don't do only a little bit of a good deed. If it's like only over, if it's under $50, I'll pay for it. But if it's over,
or just I don't know, like the drive-through thing is fine. Like, and be willing to accept it, and be like, cool, thanks. I don't have to pay for the guy behind me.
Right.
If
I usually don't. I'm like, thanks, and I drive off. I don't pay it forward. I pay for myself.
Well, paying it forward could be tipping on what you didn't have to buy.
Right.
You could just throw a couple bucks at the person inside, and that's paying it forward.
Well, then what if the person who they paid for their tab doesn't have cash, and they only had a card, and now you're out of a tip?
Well, I've had that happen.
You say, bye, thanks.
You're like, fuck.
I've had that shit happen where someone buys you a beer, and you're like, fuck, I'll have another beer, I guess. I can tip you.
Right, yeah.
But
I'll get you next time, and they would never see
that. I mean, that's the thing about paying it forward pay it forward doesn't mean you do it right now.
Yeah.
Like, you pay it forward when you can.
Right.
Right. And if it's $100 when you have $100, if it's $5 when you have $5,
right.
Just do something nice for people.
Right, but people want to do something nice, only limited.
Yeah,
they don't want to commit fully.
But I mean, like, and that's the thing is that falls to like what is your financials? Like, if I'm the homeless guy, maybe I want to pay it forward $5.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know. I think people, when they have someone do something nice for them, they have this immediate like obligation, like I have to pay it forward. It's like you do it when you can,
right?
Like,
yeah,
and it's not a fucking show, like
yeah.
There was,
or like a lot of people who if they do something like that, or if say they tip really high, they like take a picture and like post it on social media, and it's like
you're not really doing. So
it's
around
like,
Christmas time. There was a dude who came into the bar and like pulled the bartender aside, and I happened to be like right next to him. And he's like, I want to get anyone a shot who wants a shot. Yeah. But I don't want a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like the bartender went up and down, got anyone a shot that wanted a shot. He paid his tab and like tipped her like $100 and left. I'm like, that's the way to do it. Like,
Santa is
I was
real.
at a bar with my parents in Florida, and bartender came over to my mother and said, somebody at the bar wants to buy all the women a drink. What would you like? I said, oh, that's great. Who bought it? So we can say thank you. They don't want anybody to know. So now we're looking at the bar.
That's human nature,
But, so it's actually happened to us where he bought all the women at the bar a drink.
That's discrimination.
And did you go up and yell at him and say, what the fuck about
me? Or there's like people who are like, hey, I'm going to buy that guy a beer. And then the guy's like, oh, I'm going to buy him one back. And then they just keep doing it back and forth. Like, then what's the fucking point? Just pay for your own beer.
What's so funny is I did that recently. Someone bought me beer, and like the next round, I'm like, I'll get his beer. He's like, don't get my beer. That fucking
it defeats the purpose.
Like, oh, it does, doesn't it? Like, I was trying to be nice.
Buy a round of shots for both of you that you don't want. And then you will be miserable together.
Yeah. Right, that's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where I buy shots that I want but don't need.
Every time.
Every
Monday after day drinking.
Yeah. Good question. Just day drinking though? Not every Monday?
Notes to self.
Right.
Don't buy anyone anything. And show up at New World sweaty, and I'm going to get free meals.
Yeah. Perfect.
You're going to roll on the dirt a little bit.
And don't pay for it.
No, never pay for it.
And don't tip. Just be like, oh, I only have a card.
Jeff's the only one that waits, so he's the only one in the drive-thru. You don't want to pay it forward? There's nobody behind me. Sorry, I would, but...
and he's at New World being like, I wish I had a home to go to.
It's so hot or cold outside.
Yeah, this was educational for you then.
All right, that's the last call.
Last call.
This part where we go around the table and everyone can plug whatever the hell they want to plug. I ended with him, but I'm going to start with him. Jeff Nardone, go.
We have an event coming up at the brewery on August 12th. It's called Cracking Claws and Cans. It's a New England clam bake with our good friends from the Lobster Trap in Bourne. You get a full-on New England clam bake, including pound and a quarter lobster, barbecue chicken, and all the sides and fixings along with a raw bar. We have 2 live bands, Mountain Weekend and Cantina Slims, which features one of our own brewers, Andrew Garland, on the guitar and vocals. And so hopefully you guys can come by. If you're looking for tickets, we are on an Eventbrite with that event. Again, August 12th at Mayflower Brewing. Thank you.
Cool. Sweet.
Jess, what do you got?
Nothing.
All right. Karl, what do you got?
I'll promote downtown Plymouth. Come on downtown Plymouth. Stop in the bars. Stop in the restaurants.
Don't go to
Stop in the
downtown
shop.
Kingston.
Nothing's there.
Nothing's there.
Come on by the New World Tavern
Yep.
and pay it forward. As long as you're paying, I don't care.
It's like someone bad.
You can face whatever direction you want, as long as you can.
Forward, backward, sideways. Yeah. Upside down.
I'm gonna bring a call back to one of my great business ideas of houseboats because everything's
yeah.
fucking flooded nowadays. So I'm looking for my angel investor.
Ooh.
Boats
Boats and hose.
Boats. I was thinking boats and gardening. Boats and hose.
We had to cancel our event on Sunday because the taproom flooded.
Yeah. Well, if you
Well, if you had a boat.
use one of
then-
my houseboats,
Right,
Andy,
see?
or my child cages.
What about a brewery on a boat?
Yeah, you
There
can
you
put
go.
whatever you want in these houseboats. It's an open concept,
Yes.
open floor plan, right?
Right?
I don't know.
I don't
Get
know.
1 mile offshore.
Yeah, exactly. No rules.
The rules?
International waters.
I don't think 1
Houseboat
mile
casino.
offshore is international.
Depends on where that mile is.
I suppose.
Depends where the Coast Guard's looking. During floods, they're busy, man. They got bigger fish to fry.
I'm going to plug a band that I saw Saturday night in the middle of a tornado, apparently, that I found out about this morning.
Twisted Sister.
Yeah. That's such a good show.
Unplug the mic.
His head is spinning right now.
But Yachtly Crew.
You
if
want
you
some
like,
spin doctors.
If you like yacht rock, go check them out. They tour the country. Yachtly Crew. They're a lot of fun.
Yachtly Crew.
Yachtly Crew.
Sound like it'd be great on a houseboat.
Yep.
Probably.
See?
Yeah.
1 mile offshore.
1 mile offshore.
Only during a hurricane.
We're gonna
Tornado. Yep.
we're gonna call it the perfect brewery. All right, so that's it. You can email us. I'm sure we offended somebody at bartalkcast@gmail.com. You can find us on all social medias at bartalkcast, including TikTok.
And if we haven't offended you yet, you write in. Let me know.
We will make sure to
I got
offend you
you.
the next time.
And that is it.
Word.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/inebriart to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at inebriart or at inebriart6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebriart, and all the other shows on the Inebriart Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. Thanks again for listening.